Yo, what's up, aliens? AHEE here with another tutorial. Today, I wanted to go over a viewer submitted request, which was song structure. I've shown sort of similar ideas around this technique in my video, How to Make Any Beat Ever, which I'll include a link below for that one. But you can also use this same technique I've talked about for song structure. I'll show y'all how I've used this in two different instances. First, I have a new song that I'm working on. Losing Control is the working title right now, but I sort of based it off the Flux Pavilion I Can't Stop track. First of all, what I did is I took the Flux Pavilion track and I lined it up to the grid. Now, originally this song's in 140 and my song is in 160, so I put it in 140, unwarped it, found where the first kick of the first drop is, and then just made sure to line it up with the beat so it goes along with the metronome. So you can see it's perfectly synced with the metronome. That's super important because if it was at 145 BPM and it's not synced up with the song, it'll it just gets out of sync and you're not going to be able to really see the structure of the song that you want to. So you got to find the right BPM. I'll look up on Google or on Beatport what the original BPM of the song was. Sometimes there'll be wrong answers, so be sure to be aware of that. So once I've got the song in the right BPM and lined up to the grid, I hit warp, put in Complex Pro with performance all the way down, and then I moved it up to 160 BPM because that's what I wanted to make my song at. And so it still retains the same structure, but it's just at a different speed now. And so you can actually see in the waveform of the song sort of where everything is. You can see there's like an intro here, a build up. You can also see that there's a little bit of a pre-drop section right there. And then you can see the thickness of the drop right there. And then you can see again that there's like a little pull out of the bass during that section. And you can also see in this section here, the bass drops away as well. And all this stuff is good for informing like what kind of elements you should add into your own songs in these areas. And then here during the Flux Pavilion song is like another breakdown and build up. And then the original song, it was only this long and I wanted to make my song longer, so I just copied from the first drop over here to the second drop as well and extended it out, and then included a mix out section here, which would essentially be the time in which you'd be mixing from this track into the next track. And then I have outro and then the end. Here in my song it goes intro, verse, build, drop, extended drop, breakdown, and then build back up, and then drop 2, and then a mix out, and then outro at the end. And you can apply this technique with any song that you really like to really study how the song structure works, because every song is going to be a little bit different, but you'll see a lot of similarities in songs. And then through the course of time of just like observing other people's songs, you will get to feel like what's right for your song. Here we can hear the verse section of I Can't Stop, and then we'll listen to mine. So it sounds sped up because it is. And so there's a little bit of vocal elements and a beat, but not much other than that, like not much bass. So in my version, I've got vocals, I've got a beat. I do have a little bit more bass in mine. Overall, a much chiller section. And then here is the build in I Can't Stop. And then there's that pre-drop vocal, and then we'll listen to my build. I'll show you how to Another thing to note is that almost all these divisions are in bars of 8. So we've got like an intro of 8 bars, which for his was only 4, and then a verse of 8 bars, a build of 8 bars. And then the drop here is 16 bars. And then there's also an extension of the drop, which is also 16 bars. And then a breakdown and build up of 16 bars. And then his original, he had 12 bars and then an outro. But I wanted to make mine longer because it just felt right for the song. Because I'm not trying to copy his song exactly. I'm just trying to use it to inform my own song. And I saw a couple comments on this on how to make any beat ever video, where it's like, oh, that's just stealing. And it's really not. It's being informed and studying other great works of art, and that's how you're going to learn the most, is by studying other arts. It's like you can come up with everything on your own, which is great, but I think you're going to get a lot farther faster by studying other people's music. I mean, that's what the great classical composers did. Like, they studied the heck out of each other's music, you know, to find certain patterns and ideas and motifs to inspire them. Like, people study music. That's why people go to school for music. But anyways, let's listen to the drop. Here's the original. Sped up. You can see that this section is pretty much the same. It's just got a little bit more energy, and then this section is and this extended drop, there's like a dropout, and then the bass comes back in, and there's like another melodic line over this, and so you can hear that arpeggiated arp line, and so that will help you really begin to understand when you can pick apart all the individual sounds that you're hearing in someone else's song and be like, oh, this is when this element should be added. And then you can also listen to like all the effects of like when a riser's happening, when effects are falling down, and all of this will help inform you in your own songs. I'm not showing y'all how to do this. I'm showing you how to learn for yourself, which I think you're going to get way more out of than just me telling you what to do. I think you're going to be able to take your favorite songs and apply the same technique to it. Now we'll listen to my drop.
I've been losing control. I'll show you how.
I got my little melodic line there.
I've been losing control. I'll show you how to let go.
So you can see here in this extended section, the melody is more of the focus than the wubs. The wubs are more focused in the drop here. And you can see in his section as well, it's like the accent of the arpeggiation sort of becomes the lead line there. Cool. So that is an example with a dubstep song. Let me show you an example with a house song now. So this is my track Illest Alien that came out on Gravitas last year. I based this song around AC Slater's You Got To. I actually made all the drums for this song really, really quickly and sort of based it off of the song structure just to get myself going in an inspiration for this song. So you can see here, these are again chunks of bars of 8. In the song, he's got like 16 bars of a mix-in, 16 bars of a build, and then 16 bars of a drop, and then 8 bars of like a mix out / extended drop, and then another 8 bars of a build, and then in his original song he went back into the drop sans the beat right here, and then it goes into the beat. I wanted a bit of a bigger build, and mine actually goes into a trap drop because I like switching up genres like that in the same song. And so I've got an 18 bar build here. And then the drop is another 16 bars. And then there's that extra 8 bars. And then he's got another 8 bars of a mix out and then 8 bars of an outro. All right, so here again, here's his mix-in. Not very many elements, but it's got the groove there. Some ambient sounds, some vocals. Now my mix-in.
What's up, aliens?
You know, keeping it super simple there at the beginning. Next part of the build, he includes like a little tease of the theme. With the pianos there. And so in mine, I started teasing in that kind of sound. And then here during the first breakdown verse kind of thing, it's got the main theme in there. And then here's mine. Cool. Now we'll listen to his drop and then mine.
Man, this shit is sick, boy.
And then in this section here, it's like the extension of the drop. So he's still got the beat going and there's some vocal things in there, but the main bass line isn't in there. And then in mine, it goes like this.
Boy. Shit is sick.
And also it's got some sort of rising sound that goes in from one section to another. And that's a really big thing I should go over that in a video. Just all the effects and everything that really make electronic music. But yeah, and here you can see that I've made a diversion from his thing. And again, this is such a simple technique. It seems silly, it seems obvious, but it works so well. And I've started so many tracks this way where if you're ever stuck in a loop, you know, just throw down a song that you really like and then map it out to see what section is what. Just give it a name. It doesn't really even matter. Just denote each section. Just having that structure, particularly here, if you left click up here and insert add locator, and you can give it a name. You can also delete them and then move them around. Creating that structure beforehand will help move your tune along, and you can always change it. There's no set rules for how you need to structure the song, but looking at how other people structure their songs will just make you learn so much faster. And every genre is going to be different. This is going to work with every genre ever. Just learning how to dissect other people's songs. It's just a game changer. And before I go, I want to show y'all a couple of my Ableton racks that I used in this project. So I have this like vocal call sound. Here, I'm going to turn off the stereo control, and if we look at here in Span, my favorite plugin, we can see on the correlation meter it's going in and out of phase. And so when I put on the stereo control, I didn't really change any of the settings, and play it, it stays in phase now. And it still sounds stereo, not as wide as before, but still it's stereo, and you can actually adjust how mono stereo compatible it is within here. So that's one of the new tools in my Magic Ableton Racks Volume 2, which has 30 different racks in it. Now, I also have some in here from my original Ableton Racks, which are the 25 different racks, and that's the Magic Box, which I use so much. And then also here is one of the other new ones called the Radio Vox. So here's the vocal. Now here it is without all the effects. So it gives it really that nice radio thing, and then this just compresses it. So I'll turn off the radio. And what's nice is that you can automate this on and off. And then here without the Magic Box. Just helps bring it up a bit. So when I was layering my basses for this song, there was this one particular layer that I just wanted to be like a little bit more percussive, and it's this sound. And so here without the effects on it, I've got two different main effects on it. My Magic Box and a Magic Drum Shaper. The Magic Drum Shaper is part of the new series. So here it is without those effects. Magic Box brings up the volume, and now the Magic Drum Shaper is going to give it a little bit more attack. I was trying to use a neutron transient shaper to achieve this effect, but it just really wasn't doing it for me. And so by really playing around with this crispy setting here on the Drum Shaper, you can get things to be a little bit more attacky. You see, it almost acts like a gator in the sense that if it was up here, it would be like a very legato, like long sustained note. And by turning up the crispy, it's almost like you're shortening it a little bit. In a way, it's like a drum. Well, it's a drum shaper, but you can shape anything with it. Cool. Also here, there's this little bass fill, and I have both the Magic Rack and one of the new ones called the Fat Magic Rack. So here it is without either of them. Now with the Magic Box, beefs it up a little bit, and then the Fat Magic just gives it so much more character. I sort of based the Fat Magic one off the sausage fattener. Now the last one I want to show y'all is another use of the Magic Box, and I have it here after my limiter on my drum group, which is pretty weird because it's got a glue compressor with the soft limiter on, so it acts as a limiter in a way as well. I just felt like the Pro L worked better with the transients. But here, I'll show y'all with and without it. Now with it. Yeah, it really helps out. Cool. Hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. Going to be doing more. Let me know in the comments what else y'all would be interested in learning. And I'll provide a link in the comments where y'all can get the Magic Racks. All right. Peace, aliens.
Man, this shit is sick, boy.